no place like the Q.
Coming across your airwaves, dance with me. It's an intersectional day, and it's gonna bring you the weekly.
Family, is the news overwhelming? Is it just too much? Well, I get you, and I got you.
Yeah.
Family, this is your favorite queer radio personality, Anna Deshawn, and this is Queer News, your favorite weekly news pod where race and sexuality meet politics, culture, and entertainment. This is your number one stop for queer news done right, only on E3 Radio.
I'm like a gender pronoun mannequin. I'm like, try them all on me. Again, I love just like the educator in me. I'm just like, let's see how people receive me and gives me information on their perception. And it's just my brain. Yeah.
I heard that. I love your brain. Brain. Yeah. All right, let's do this. Have a good time.
All right, I'm down.
Now, that was the beginning of my lovely conversation with Plant Queen, okay, aka Christopher. Christopher is a Brooklyn-based educator, author, and gardener who has turned a West Philly upbringing into a global movement of joy. With millions of followers across the internet, this Black, queer, non-binary queen has cultivated a community rooted in environmental awareness and the simple, radical joy of plant parenting. We talked about their identity, their 200 green girls, that's what Christopher calls them, okay, living in their apartment. The book titled You Grow Girl, and so much more. I think you will absolutely love this conversation. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's on the feed, Just go back to last week and take a listen. And I think you really will enjoy it. Now, have you joined the Substack yet? It's where our weekly newsletter lives, but it also houses our lists, our guides, our special episodes. Our website is still a hub, but this is different. It's a place where we have discoverability. And in 2 months, family, we have nearly doubled the listserv, something that wasn't happening before. We've never grown at this rate, and it's feeling like this was the right move. So come on, meet me over there, queernewspod.substack.com. Of course, it's in the show notes, but let me tell you again, queernewspod.substack.com. Join the movement. QCrew, y'all are the movement. You are actively helping to sustain this work. I can never say thank you enough, ever. You are the reason we can pay our editor, Ryan, okay, who I wouldn't want to do this podcast without. And I believe that soon enough, our QCrew will be able to cover the cost of our producer, Mayana, my assistant, Laren, someone to cut clips for the internet, even pay myself. So, if you believe in the work we do, if you believe LGBTQ stories need to be amplified, and if you love and respect how I report on the news and tell our stories, join the QCrew. It starts at $5 a month. You're not even gonna miss that $5. I know it. And now for this week's stories. In politics, trans troops continue fighting for their right to serve in the military. And Iowa teachers receive a settlement after being suspended for a drag show. In sports, the WNBA announces a new team in Cleveland, and transphobes have entered the WNBA chat. Last but not least, in culture and entertainment, the Thrive Fund has opened grant applications for gender-affirming care, and you might meet the criteria. Let's get into it. Family, in politics, y'all know very well that ever since Trump began his second term, his administration has made it their personal vendetta to make life harder for our trans siblings. Whether it's sports or the largest employer of LGBTQ plus folks, the military, they are trying everything possible to erase our trans siblings from public life. But let me tell you something. We ain't gonna stop fighting for our trans sibs. There are people and organizations who continue to fight back. And 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with a friend of the podcast, okay, Luke, the co-founder and chief executive officer of Out in National Security. Now, Out in National Security is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to recruit, retain, and promote LGBTQIA+ people across the national security enterprise. This includes family, defense, diplomacy, intelligence, child, all the military things. Well, Luke and I discussed the current state of LGBTQ+ folks in the military and what's actually at risk right now due to the National Defense Authorization Act. I know, the names of these acts be so long, but we get into it amongst other things. So I want y'all to take a listen to this clip and hear from Luke about what's actually happening right now.
And right now, what they're doing to trans people is incredibly shameful. They are kicking them out in ways that give them discharge codes. So when you get kicked out, when you leave the military, you get a little code on your paperwork that goes over to the VA. And they're giving them discharges, which makes it hard for them to get new jobs, right? They give them the same codes that they give people who like desert the military or sell secrets to hostile foreign governments. So it is, not everyone wants to serve in the military, but it's a profound sign of disrespect, which is why ONS exists and why ONS is involved. And even with the executive order, they've been trying to turn stuff into permanent law to harm our community. So last year, this big bill that happens every year, the National Defense Authorization Act, had, all the favorites of all the people who hate our community. They had a bathroom ban. They had book bans for the DoD run the school system, book bans for DoD school system. They had bans on access to gender-affirming care for service members and dependents, even though they were kicking out all the trans people anyway. And every year they've tried to make this executive order, when a president sends an executive order, it lasts as long as he's in office, but we can take it back. Tried to turn that into law last year. So we organized with a bunch of our friends and we pushed back. And last year we stopped almost all of that. Bad stuff happened, but not bad stuff that can't be taken back. This year, same thing's happening again. I'm very proud to say that the amendment that would have banned trans people from serving, so like Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and other policies that discriminated against our community in the past, has been stopped on the House side. But we're still seeing, pretty heinous things that would say to populations that disproportionately serve, right? So there are about 150,000 trans veterans in the country. And, if, something like a fifth of all trans people serve in the military at some point in their lives. So that is a lot of folks who are making a pretty conscious choice to contribute to the country, and it's showing them disrespect. And we exist to push back. I'll also say I'm really proud of some of our members. We had a trans woman who got booted out, and she was homeless for a while, and she was able to work with us to do a bill out in California at AB 1775, which is going to pass to the governor's desk in the fall, which will target helping all the trans people who are getting kicked out. It'll make it easier for them to get housing, for their military job licenses to transition, for them to get health care. Because, of course, this administration is making it harder for trans people to get health care.
Yes.
It's just been it's been a great moment for a community organization. I mean, we are a community that responds well under threat.
We do.
I hate being threatened, but man, I am so proud of everyone who's stepped up and spoken up and pushed back.
And isn't that what makes the difference? It is. It is the work that makes all the difference. All of us have our lanes. Let me just grab a soapbox real quick. All of us have our lanes, the thing we are most passionate about. And it is during these times that we must see how we can protect the most vulnerable amongst us, even in those spaces. Luke is doing it in the military. Others are doing it in sports. Some are doing it in their workplaces. Others at home, raising their kids. It doesn't matter what space you're in, what you care about. This work must be done. Okay, off the soapbox, back to the story, okay? Now, on the same day that I talked to Luke, federal claims judge Elaine D. Kaplan in D.C. ruled to deny the U.S. Justice Department's attempt to dismiss a lawsuit with 17 trans military members who are suing the Justice Department for, quote, unlawfully stripping them of retirement pay and benefits after promising they could leave military service with early retirement. Now, one of Trump's Justice Department's arguments is that the military members had no right to sue due to their active status in the military. A status which I'm sure they were banking on. Everything they do is strategic. You have to be 3 steps ahead. One plaintiff told The Advocate, quote, "To have us go out with a whimper as opposed to a bang is not right. More so than just being trans, we are military. We are serving," end quote. This lawsuit has been ongoing since November of last year. And then back in March, the Justice Department attempted to dismiss 16 of the 17 plaintiffs. But fortunately, all their attempts to get people dismissed, and I said all of them, have failed due to their poor arguments and judges like Elaine D. Kaplan in D.C. So where do things currently stand? You might be asking yourself that very question. And let me tell you, it's in limbo. Our trans siblings are not going to stop fighting. Organizations like Out National Security are going to keep doing the good work. And we have legal advocates who are continuing to stand on the side of our trans siblings and fight back. And the truth is today, if you're trans and you want to join the military, you can. They are blocking access. And one of the strategies here is to stay in the courts until this administration changes. So we'll keep following because our trans sibs deserve every benefit they were promised. Oh, and if you want to watch that interview with me and Luke, it's in the show notes and also on our YouTube page. It's really informative, and the organization is called Out in National Security. Now, for our next story in politics, 3 teachers in Iowa have received a settlement after facing suspension for a drag show. Y'all, we love a good win, okay? Especially when some money's involved. Now, this all started back in 2022 when a student-led drag show facilitated by teachers from Iowa's Ankeny school district resulted in an $87 million lawsuit from a right-wing woman whose students don't even go to the school in the district. And family, can I grab a soapbox again real quick? Please, because the number of stories I've reported on here on this podcast where people have filed lawsuits in districts that they don't live in, that they are not impacted by, is absolutely absurd. And it has been completely part of their strategy. Their money, their endless coffers of cash, and their legal prowess have caused and wreaked havoc across this country to the most vulnerable among us. And it is absolutely infuriating. You telling me a woman filed an $87 million lawsuit? Someone who felt so impassioned about something that was happening in Iowa with a drag show? But I digress. Because let me tell you about the drag show, okay? It was a collaborative effort between middle and high school students from local GSAs, right? The Gay Straight Alliances, as a way for students to get to know each other. Isn't that beautiful? In rural America, here in the Midwest, because people live far apart. I'm sure there's plenty of students who felt like they were one of 2, one of 3. But when you bring multiple GSAs together, we can be 1 of 20, okay? We can feel like we got a squad, you know? And so that's what this was all about. These students getting to know each other. The event was also an ice cream social, and it was a private event for only GSA students. Footage and photos, though, from this show made their way to the internet and ended up in some right-wing circles deeming the event inappropriate. The teachers confirmed that, quote, "at no point during the celebration did anyone expose themselves to a student or do anything obscene, inappropriate, or engage in behavior that interrupted the educational environment at the school." Now, this is according to the Des Moines Register. The school district couldn't handle the heat from the right, because who can? These folks trying to teach the babies, and they're trying to go after them with so much money to do it. So the teachers were placed on suspension while the school began an investigation into the event, warning the teachers that any other violations would result in their termination. Now, sometime after the 3 teachers, they went ahead and filed a lawsuit for themselves against the school district for, quote, basis of their sexual orientation, as well as association with others based on sexual orientation, end quote. All 3 teachers and are members of and or allies of the LGBTQ+ community. Now, the lawsuit was filed by teachers and it resulted in a settlement. Yes, they won. Yes, they did. They got a settlement for $150,000 and it was awarded to the 3 teachers and their attorneys. Now, here's hoping the attorneys weren't $125,000, okay? But here's to us continuing to fight back and finding the energy to do it so that they can't win. Whew. Come on now, let's take a quick break, huh? And when we get back, let's get into some sports and some culture and entertainment. Have you subscribed to the newsletter yet? We are on Substack now. What are you waiting for? queernewspod.substack.com. queernewspod.substack.com. Visit, put your email address in, then hit upgrade. Go $5 a month to really help us sustain this work. Family, we all we got. Did you know we had a newsletter? Yes, the Queer News Podcast has a weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday. There's a special newsletter for the QCrew, but there's a free newsletter for absolutely everybody. So if you want to stay in the know about what I got going on, what I got to say unfiltered, and just a list of all the stories covered every single week with time codes, yo, you got to subscribe to the newsletter. A link to subscribe is in the show notes. Welcome back to the show, family. Now let's get into some sports, culture, and entertainment. Did you hear? The WNBA has a new team, the Cleveland Sirens. The team was announced on Tuesday, August 4th, and they described themselves as sharp, unapologetic, fearless, and relentless. Now, the siren part comes from Greek mythology, where sirens are alluring water spirits known for their captivating voices. Now, the Cleveland Sirens will be the 16th team in the league, and Cleveland is no stranger to the WNBA. The Cleveland Rockers precede the Sirens as a founding franchise, and they were active in the league from 1997 to 2003 when the team couldn't find a new buyer. Now, fun fact, former Cleveland Rocker and Women's Basketball Hall of Famer Janice Braxton actually lends her vocal talent in the trailer announcing the Sirens. And I want to play the whole thing because it's so good, but you have to watch it. You're going to listen to it right now, but I really want y'all to go watch it. Take a listen.
There's a story carried across these waters, a sound that never disappeared.
Bide my time, wearing a warning sign. Wait till the world is mine.
They told her to be quiet, to be smaller, softer, seen but never heard. But she was never meant to whisper.
You should see me in the crowd.
She is the force Cleveland has been waiting for. We are the Cleveland Sirens. From these waters, a powerful new voice rises.
You should see me in the crowd.
Forged on our shores, rooted in the past, built for what's next. This is her story. This is her voice. And the world is listening. Hear the call.
Wasn't it good? Did you hear the sound design, the water? Did you feel it? Okay. Maybe it's just me. No, it can't be. It can't be just me. I know it's really good, okay? Now, if this came as part of a huge rollout, season tickets and merch ahead of the team's 2028 start, The logo has 2 different hues of blue, and it features a siren swimming underneath the team name. The logo designer took inspiration from Lake Erie, as well as the former Cleveland Rockers logo, which featured a matching shade of blue. Now, the Sirens are part of a larger league expansion, right? We met the Golden State Valkyries last year, and they're currently sitting at the number 2 spot in the league. All right, they're doing it. Then we're going to have the Sirens in 2028. Detroit will be up next, announcing their return to the league in 2029, and Philadelphia will enter the league in 2030. The demand for the WNBA is growing. It's beautiful to see, and it's great to watch the league expand, yes, and giving more women the opportunity to play. Now, I want to know, where would you like to see the next WNBA team expand to? I got some ideas. Let's continue this conversation with sports, and specifically the WNBA, because I just had an experience I want to share, and the transphobic political theater that it's made its way to the W is worth addressing. Last week, 2 former subpar NBA players decided they were going to declare their eligibility to play in the WNBA. Inez Cantor-Freedom and Royce White. Now, why would they do this? Because from where I sit, these bigots don't have anything else to do, clearly. And most of this right-wing attention began last month when Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, who was also subpar, decided to voice her support to ban trans kids from sports. And then she was seen in a picture with Riley Gaines, the ultimate anti-trans drifter, bought and paid for by the right. Well, this weekend I had my experience of seeing Sophie Cunningham up close and personal when the Fever came to town to take on the Chicago Sky. And when they come to Chicago, they typically will play a game at the United Center where the Chicago Bulls play. And last year I went and I sold one, went to another, because the vibes are just so different when the Indiana Fever fans come to town. I ended up sitting next to someone who had on a Confederate flag hat. Do you know how uncomfortable that is? This year, a few rows below me were a couple of lesbians, and one of them had a sign that said, "Lesbians for Sophie," meaning she was identifying herself as a lesbian and also someone who doesn't believe trans kids deserve a space in sports. I posted it on the internet because the homie Nora decided to confront her at the end of the game because she had had enough. Her trans flag was actually confiscated by security. I met someone else whose trans flag was confiscated by security, but this person was able to bring in this sign. And then Friday afternoon, the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelberg, wrote a memo to the teams letting them know the league would be discussing transgender athletes in women's basketball. She also shared that the topic would be addressed by a task force of team presidents and general managers this week. Now, the league's collective bargaining agreement is pretty clear. It says, quote, "Only players who are women are eligible to play in the WNBA," end quote. Now, it doesn't include any more specific language about gender identity or sex assigned at birth, because it literally says what it needs to. Only players who are women are eligible to play in the WNBA, which makes the antics of these subpar former NBA players even more annoying and disrespectful. The Women's National Basketball Players Association released a statement on their Instagram page on Friday. They said, "We embrace justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion." They went on to say, "Those are the values that unite this union and allow it to protect women's sports while creating transformational change. Hate, abuse, and demonization of any person or group of people, including trans people, only fuel fear, division, and harm. We will continue to have hard conversations, but we will not be used as political pawns." And this is that part for me, the political pawns part, because that's what they want. We will, of course, keep following to see what the W does here, but they better get it right. They better get it right and continue to protect our trans siblings, because trans kids in sports is truly not a real issue. And I keep saying that, and y'all have heard me say it on the podcast multiple times. I feel like I need to write something on the Substack because I want to elaborate as to why it is not an issue. because I feel like some people get lost there. So stay close to the Substack, okay? Because I've got more to share on this topic because it is infuriating me, and I think that might be the best way to get it out. Now, for our final story today, the Thrive Fund is now accepting applications for their 2026 grant season. Now, the Thrive Fund is a fund that rewards up to $2,500 for gender-affirming care, not covered by other programs that they fund. So, if you are seeking financial support for gender-affirming care, such as updating government IDs, vocal therapy, certain legal services, this grant application, this fund is for you. To qualify for the Thrive Fund, you must be over the age of 18, identify as trans, F to M to F, non-binary, genderqueer, gender non-conforming, child, and all other non-cis identities, okay? And have an upcoming financial need that is not covered by one of the other programs of Point of Pride. Point of Pride, in case you're wondering, is the parent organization of the Thrive Fund. It's celebrating 10 years of operation. 10 years. And their mission is to help trans youth and adults access necessary life-saving health and wellness services, rooted in the principles of affirmation, access, equity, empowerment, and celebration. Point of Pride has awarded over $6 million across all of their financial support programs, which I think is pretty amazing, okay? And this fund started in 2004. Yes. And since then, more than $116,000 has been gifted to 104 recipients. On the Thrive Fund's website, they feature many past recipients, their stories, and their timelines pre and post receiving the Thrive Fund. It's important to note that the fund does not cover financial needs related to transportation and housing. It also doesn't cover surgery, chest binders, or tucking garment purchases, because those are covered by other funds. So just visit their website, okay, pointofpride.org. And if you want to learn more about the Thrive Fund, visit pointofpride.org/thrive-fund. Okay, a link is in the show notes. And read over the information carefully, right? Because applications can't be edited once they've submitted. So they're open until August 31st. And so if this sounds like a fund that you can use, go apply. If it sounds like something you've got a friend that may need it, tell them about it, okay? Recipients will have 6 months to utilize the funds for retail purchases and 18 months for services after receiving the grant. So visit pointofpride.org/thrive-fund. Now it's time for Anna's Got a Word, because Anna's always got a word. But I must be honest, the word was hard to find today. We had a loss in our family, and the services are this week, and it was so unexpected that it really taken us all a little bit off guard. And we had a loss a couple months ago as well. That one was more expected, so there was some closure around it, I think, that made it a little more bearable. This one was a little bit of a shock. And when death happens so suddenly, I don't know about you, but for me, it offers opportunity for reflection. And you end up just sitting with things like, what am I doing with my life? You know, we don't know the date or the time. Is today the day? Is now the time? And what am I doing? I've been sitting with that. And so I shared with you, what are you doing? Are you happy with it? Does it bring you joy? Are you questioning things? I offer you a word of encouragement to find it, to find what that what is, to figure out who you are in this world and in this life and what you want to do with it. I encourage you to take some time to reflect on that, because I'm doing it too, okay? All right, y'all. Y'all take good care, okay? And I'll talk to you next week. Peace. If you've enjoyed what you heard, rate and review us inside your favorite podcasting app. This podcast is a team effort, edited by Ryan Woodhall of Public Sound, script written by Mayana Jané, newsletter and socials by Laren, hosted and produced by me, Anna Deshawn. Queer News is brought to you by E3 Radio and distributed on The Cube. We are Queer News done right.